While working at a hospital in Southern California, Sacramento State graduate Cate Dyer was pursuing her dream of being an emergency room doctor. But she couldn't help notice organ donor agencies working with families of dying patients.
I noticed that a lot of the transplant companies couldn't work with families or donors that wanted to be organ donors because they may have had a specific disease.
While disease ruled out donor organs for transplant, donor tissue for research was in short supply.
Researchers that are trying to focus then on breast cancer research that may want to work with this family or the person who had passed away, and organs could be collected, etc.
What Cate found is that hospitals were not set up, nor did they have the time or resources to collect and transport blood or tissues to the researchers working on treatments for disease and injury.
You know, a hospital is their pain points and their focus points are entirely different than a research institute's pain points and focus. And so they really didn't work well together. They didn't understand each other's issues or needs well.
The global entrepreneur uses the 21st century skill of problem solving to see themes or patterns in data, connects information from different subject areas, and uses critical thinking. Cate went to work to find out what research facilities needed and how she could be a conduit. Her company, StemExpress, was born out of the desire to be the bridge that brought those two sides together.
I tried to listen to what was broken first for them. What was slowing down their research? What was slowing down their work? Where were the roadblocks? And then try to figure out how I could fix those.
And that problem solving didn't stop with the research labs. Dyer had to use careful communication to negotiate the pain points for hospitals and doctors. The global entrepreneur uses the 21st century skill of communication to listen attentively, choose words wisely, and clarify questions, repeating back what was heard to make sure everything was understood correctly.
You know, you may have, let's say a physician that you're working with to collect cord blood. And maybe this physician's really not happy that, you know, the hospital decided for us to work together. And so we're there and we have to be in the same environments, be in the same OR rooms. I think that one of the things that we do well is to try to explain to the doctors, you know, what we're doing, what we're collecting, where it's going, the impact that it's having.
And the impact is felt from Austin to Australia, as blood cells and tissue make their way around the world from the headquarters in Folsom. Cate Dyer grew her business quickly, using the 21st century skill of collaboration to acquire the expensive equipment needed to supply a growing list of research labs.
Partners that we could partner with that we may be able to do a project with, maybe they can provide us some equipment in that project, and so we could build this, you know, war chest of different pieces of equipment that we couldn't have afforded to buy at the time.
The global entrepreneur uses the 21st century skill of collaboration to offer help when needed and find out what people have in common so they can work together. StemExpress is based in Folsom, California, born out of Cate Dyer's desire to match donor tissue and blood product, including stem cells, with researchers who are working on diseases like diabetes, cancer, and Parkinson's.
So many of the companies we work with now are developing blood tests, you know, looking for cancerous cells in the blood, looking for irregularities in DNA structure that's going to produce a downstream issue for that patient.
The journey from one lab to a multi-million-dollar global operation wasn't without significant sacrifice.
But we're all human beings, and at some point you run out of gas, right? You run out of energy. And I know that I had days, especially in our first year, where I felt like I just have to lay in bed today. I don't know what day of the week it is. I'm not certain if it's a weekend or a weekday, but I need to be in bed today, all day.
But after a phone call, text, or email from a research lab, Cate says her energy would be renewed.
Oh my gosh, Cate, this is just amazing. Like the type of, we've never been able to access, you know, cells at this level, this immediately, like our research is entirely changing because of this. Like what you're doing is making such a difference. And I would think, why am I in bed? I need to get up and I need to get going. So
while growing her business, Cate says the 21st century skill of adaptability has been key.
I think when you're starting a business, you need to really listen. You know, really listen to what clients are telling you. If they're liking your product but they think something needs to change, like you need to change it. You need to be willing to look at that.
And not only adaptability in business, but in your own life goals as an entrepreneur.
I always wondered if I would regret not going to med school and really following that passion. But when I really broke it down and looked at why I was so passionate about medicine, it was helping people, it was helping patients. And I think that when you start to look at sort of where you're going to what you want to accomplish at the end of things, I think you can start to answer some of those questions about where your focus should really be, at a deeper level.
And that passion to help others solve the mysteries of devastating disease or injury is playing out with every donation and every sample shipped to labs around the world.